previous casino I've done work with, we had an old lady. She had like a vacation home in California, but she was from the UK, and she was literally spending like $1 million to 1.5 million a month on the online casino. It's pretty crazy how much people actually spend online.
Guys, we're in fucking Vegas. We're at Victor Muñoz. We're talking casinos. We're talking Ecom. We're talking
Casinos always is gonna be relevant. It just depends on like the barrier of entry, right? For example, the reason why I like social casinos, people could just run their cards. You're tapping into the whole demographic that's like 50 years old and older that doesn't know how to have a MetaMask and get into crypto and then go on Rainbet or Stakes.
What has like an affiliate made?
The most I've seen somebody make like just as an affiliate is probably about like 2 million in profit a month.
You gotta look internationally. America's the biggest market, but there's so many fucking fast growing. You mentioned Brazil.
Brazil's like a really hot market for casino. They don't deposit a lot, but like the cost to acquire a customer is like $5, $10. They love to gamble, so like you're gonna make that back quick.
You've been on all sides. You've been on casino, Ecom, on the insurance side. Which lane do you prefer?
I really actually enjoy casino. I think it's really fun, but I do like insurance as well.
How the fuck do you get an edge in this environment where it's so hard to keep up, man?
One is like...
Newsbreak is the fastest growing local news app in the United States, with over 50 million monthly and 16 million daily users checking in throughout the day. When you sign up, the Newsbreak team reaches out with white glove service to get you onboarded and making money right away. Up to $5,000 in matching ad credits, quick account approvals, and dedicated account management to help you find early success. To learn more and sign up, check out the link in the description below. Don't waste time. Sign up now and let's fucking go.
Guys, we're in fucking Vegas. We're at Victor Muñoz. We're talking casinos. We're talking Ecom. We're talking we might fucking talk some Medicare. We might talk some AI Sora shit. We're gonna talk a lot of stuff. I'm fucking excited, guys. Let's do it. Yeah, we did a podcast. We did something.
Wait, it was a quick little Denver Contact IO last year, 2024.
Yeah, we did. You had the NASA.
I had the NASA shirt on.
NASA shirt. We're going to the fucking moon, baby. Taking profits to the moon on this show. Good to have you on here, man.
Yeah, bro.
My man was in Columbia Con 1. He was in Columbia Con 2. The motherfucking gets around, man.
Yes, sir.
He knows, right? You gotta travel. You gotta go to these shows. You gotta talk, see what's going on, man. And I can say one thing about you. You're a great student of what we do here,
yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
And when we had the first Columbia Con we had, I was very like, you run an event. It's my first like event I actually did, man. And I was nervous, man.
Yeah.
Me and Samara were nervous. And you could tell people were kind of get acclimated. I think you came a little late, but you came in, you started asking a lot of questions.
Yep,
You're asking a lot of questions, and they were like relevant questions. And people like that, I think you changed the whole tone, and like people started going after you got there. So I want to thank you for that, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I was a little late. Like I had like some family stuff going on, but I just don't need to make it. And yeah, just, we're out there. We might as well start asking questions, So
yeah,
that's kind of like the biggest takeaway, I think, for like stuff really quick on just traveling, ask questions when you're there. You already made the effort to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So casino, right? When you came to the second Columbia Con, and at the first one we didn't really talk too much. I was glad you were there. And the second one you were at, and you had brought some partners you work with in the casino space, and that opened my eyes because obviously most of what I've done has been in like, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know if you want to call it white hat, whatever. Solar, home improvement, and insurance, debt, financial services, that kind of shit. But I went to college during the .com bubble, right?
Yeah.
And I believe I saw how much money was made and lost in the stock market. You see what's going on with crypto. I've been around the block, right?
Yep.
And I think that I call this the degen economy. I think we're in the fucking gold rush of the degen economy, right?
I would have to agree.
You agree, right?
100%.
So, and to see you with the partners there, and we talked about doing some stuff there, like I feel like it's such a fucking gold rush, and it's not just America, it's international, right? So let's talk about that and what you're doing in this space.
Yeah, so for casino, I primarily work with social casinos right now. So for those of you who do not know that, basically it's casinos that are free to play, but they offer packages where people can purchase coins to win like real cash prizes. That's kind of like the legal loophole. But essentially it's all US market stuff. There's some states that are excluded from that, but pretty much I run that. I feel like the reason why that's a little bit better for me is just I live in the States, I live in Vegas, so I kind of know a lot of the casino lingo. So it's a little bit easier for me to do to like run those ads and be like proficient in them. But I've also ran like stuff in Brazil before, like kind of Europe countries like Italy, Germany, those are hot markets. I've done some stuff in Canada. So casinos always is going to be relevant. It just depends on like the barrier of entry, right? So for example, the reason why I like social casinos, people could just run their cards. So now you're tapping into the whole demographic that's like 50 years old and older that doesn't know how to have a MetaMask and get into crypto and then go on Rainbet or Stakes. So like those are kind of like the demographic that those bigger crypto casinos are missing. So I kind of just found it to be a little bit balanced. That kind of tied in with my previous experiences with Ecom and whatnot. So it just kind of was a perfect storm for me, but it's going to be big everywhere, no matter what.
Yeah, you know what I read too today, and I want to know if you're doing anything, these prediction markets, right?
Yeah.
I was here, I was here last year. Oh, I think it was at this show, right? So right around before the elections, right? And
Yeah.
it was like Biden, Trump, and
Trump,
then you see the fucking bets live. It was
Yeah.
Kalshi showing the bets
in the
live.
pilot market. Yeah.
You see like a whole bunch of money for Trump, then you see like a big motherfucker for Biden, like 50,000, 100,000, 60. It was just crazy, and it becomes like addictive. You're looking at this shit like, wow, right? And you kind of wanted, it's like, oh, let me put my fucking money in there, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying that these prediction markets are gonna be bigger than the stock markets.
I agree. So I was funny enough, I was just talking yesterday to a guy who just got funded. So he provides the software that those prediction markets basically utilize to like make the predictions, I guess. I don't know too much about it, but he just got funded 1 million and he's only been in the business for like a month.
Wow.
So the money's going to be big. I could only imagine a year from now how much he's going to be funded at that point, whether it be VC capital or whatever it is. So I think that's kind of where the market's shifting, especially because that's more legalized between all 50 states as opposed to social casino. Like California just shut down social casino. So in a few months, that's going to be completely like you can no longer run traffic to California, which is probably like arguably the biggest or second biggest state. So, you know, as this is kind of getting more regulated, I think there's going to be more of a space for these poly markets or like Hashis, kind of just predictive markets because it's open bets everywhere.
So how do we, as affiliates, media buyers, as sales, biz dev guys, how do we benefit? How can we join?
I think first off, I think it's more just you know, getting Kashi and getting Polymarket and finding the people who are in charge of the marketing department to take on affiliates. From what I understand and just my quick research, I haven't found like that they have like pretty decent affiliate programs yet. I think the first competitor of them that does come out with a good affiliate program that allows like the majority of normal marketers to go ahead and get into that is going to be huge. I think they're going to like benefit from that, and that's going to be like really, really big for everybody. In terms of us just getting in it on the like just on the outside in is like pretty much whoever has the capital to start something like that. You know, I don't know how much that entails. Like, you know, that could be, from my understanding, to start something similar like that, like a social casino, for example, it's about $3 million to start it.
It doesn't sound that crazy.
So it doesn't sound that crazy for what you're getting.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you're probably going to lose money for the first year, but then from there, it's pretty much profit. So that's one thing to consider as well. So with this, I'm not sure predictive markets maybe cost a little bit more to get something going, or maybe cost a little bit less, but it's definitely feasible for anybody who wants to go ahead and do it. It's just, you know, doing it at that point.
Yeah, and that's what I love about what we do is that there's always something. It's always something newer, a new kind of like, I don't even want to call it, I don't know if you call it trend or whatever. There's always something like a new wave that comes, right? And you catch that wave, you could really like fucking crush it.
There's a lot of money to be made on the waves. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what did you see? Like, I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff, right? With the casino wave, the sports betting, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, what's the most you've seen people make?
I'll tell you how much somebody's lost first.
Oh, yeah, good. I like that.
Good. So a previous casino I've done work with, I can't really say the name, but we had an old lady. She had like a vacation home in California, but she was from the UK. And she was literally spending like $1 million to 1.5 million a month on the online casino, like pretty much just losing it. And like, it got to the point where it's like, hey, like we had to call her, make sure like, you know, this isn't stolen funds or whatever it was. And apparently she just like had inherited it from like her deceased husband. So she just, you know, took the, you know, the majority stake of like the whatever pool money he had. And yeah, she was just gambling for fun, and she would just do crazy amounts, like crazy bets, max out their casino pretty much. To the point where like, you know, the owners are like, hey, let's get her private jets to come to California or Vegas for fun, just because they wanted to treat her like royalty to keep on spending. So it's pretty crazy how much people actually spend online too. A lot of people think like, hey, only the heavy rollers play in person, but that's not really the case sometimes.
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name. There was an Asian guy on our way here yesterday. The fucking guy lost like $500 million gambling here in Vegas, and but he had days he won like $5 million playing slots.
Yeah,
and the guy would like he was just crazy. Like he would, whether he won or lost, he would tip aggressively. One time he tipped somebody, like one of the servers people, $50,000. You know, so it wasn't just a gambling loss. It was like he was like exuberant with this shit, man.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The baccarat tables at the Palms Casino, they get down like that. Like it's all like pretty much all Asian speaking people, whether it be like, you know, Filipinos or Chinese people, Mandarin, whatever. But they're putting like 10K on a hand on a bet, and I'm like, I can never see myself doing that, no matter how rich I am. Like that's insane to me. Yeah, you're losing like, you know, $1 million with the span of like 30 minutes sometimes, you know?
Yeah, no, it's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you answered it that way. I was more talking about like what has like an affiliate made or a media.
Oh, an affiliate, yeah, as a media, but it just depends on your deal ultimately. So like, One of the networks that I've worked with is called bankrolls.com. So if anybody wants to get into affiliate, kind of like the affiliate side of things there, bankrolls.com is a great starting place. They work with a lot of social casinos, a lot of just foreign casinos, and essentially all the deals are there. And there's 3 types of deals. So there's like the normal CPA deal. So, you get paid $250 per depositor or something like that. You get the rev shares, which you don't get no paid upfront, but you get paid like 40% of revenue, which is all losses from X amount of time typically. So they'll typically give you like losses for like a year or two. Some will go further. It just depends on the casino. And then they have the hybrid deals, which is personally my favorite, where you get a little bit CPA, which will at least cover your ad costs, so you're not floating. And then you'll have that percentage. It'll be a slightly smaller percentage because you are getting paid CPA, but you kind of benefit on both sides. So it's better for longevity. The most I've seen somebody make, like just as an affiliate, is probably about like 2 million in profit a month. And that was like a small team. Then they were based in Brazil, and they were just doing all types of offers like nationwide, worldwide. So they were doing a lot of European casinos. Like I think they tackled Germany, Italy, and Spain the most. And then they just ran it up. So there's definitely a lot of money in it. Me personally, I think my biggest month in terms of revenue, just because I was kind of more of on the internal media buying side, was about like 1.5 million in spend. And then that I can't really tell you the revenue, because with casino, the thing too, to kind of keep a note of is like people don't, like you're kind of taking a front end loss as an operator at a casino, right? Because it costs us like, let's just say $150 target CPA to acquire a customer, but they're only depositing $10 initially. So they still want $40 worth of negative spread that the casino has to do. But at that point, it's up to the casino and their team to, basically get people to want to spend over 140. And then from that point forward, it's pretty much all green. Like that customer now turns into profit. So that's why it's kind of difficult in the first year of operating a casino, because you're losing money on all those spreads. But eventually, as those players keep on coming back and playing for more, you're going to become positive, and then you're swimming in money at that point. So 1.5 million to spend is what I've spent, and that was primarily Facebook ads. In terms of revenue generated, I can't really say, just because again, it's like AOVs and LTVs are kind of always skewing there.
Yeah, but that's a lofty number, at the end of the day. And I'm glad you talked about the international markets. I really firmly believe, and listen, I've been trying to do this for a long time. You got to look internationally. It's not just America's the biggest market. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't fucking make money in America, but there's so many fucking fast growing. You mentioned Brazil. I mean, I was at and the affiliate world shows are good for this. You go to those shows and you hear these crazy numbers and what people are doing. There's some guy in Brazil putting on fucking ridiculous numbers, man. I think he's doing like Ecom and doing all these like nutritional products. I heard like the glutides are doing good. GLPs are doing great, like in Mexico. But like if you're good at generating leads online, if you can somehow segue there or you parlay that into other markets, man, and that's a good thing you see with the casinos and you see some of the sports betting products, you can do some serious.
Brazil's actually, funny enough, Brazil's like a really hot market for casino. They don't deposit a lot, but like the cost to acquire a customer is like it's $5, $10. It's super cheap to acquire a customer who's willing to pay. And obviously, again, there's that negative spread period, but they love to gamble. So like you're gonna make that back quick when you market into Brazil for sure.
Yeah, I remember in our call center in Colombia, we were fan to get job applicants for the call center. Fuck, man, I think they were coming for less than $1. I think we were getting like 20 cents, 30 cents, 50. I'm like, is this fucking for real?
Yeah, no,
it was crazy.
Every other country. Yeah. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it is insane, man. But yeah, so I know that what I like about you, you've had experience. You've been on all sides. You've been on, you've done casino, you've done like the gambling stuff, right? And you've done Ecom, right? You've done traditional. We're talking here before we filmed. You were showing us some new ads you've done on the insurance side, right? Which I love, by the way. We talk about that later. If you love it. Which lane do you prefer? I mean, there's different lanes, right? Which is like your favorite lane of all those?
So I come from an ecom background. I started in ecom in about like 2017, like the tail end of that. So I kind of fell in love with it. I got screwed in like around 2020 with the huge lawsuit. It's kind of still a thing right now. But essentially I was running ecom stores. Dropshipping was kind of like my first love in the online marketing space. But because of circumstances regarding that, which I won't get into, but that pivoted me into the affiliate space. So then from there I went to Nutra. And then from there, I got into lead gen a little bit, and then I kind of got into solar for a little bit. So I've been kind of everywhere. I've made money in every single thing, and I've kind of figured out what I like now that I'm a little bit older. I'm like 8 years in the game now. So I think my number one is I really actually enjoy casino. I think it's really fun. So I'm trying to just kind of, build that up and kind of make my way to like be closer to an operator standpoint, whether that be starting my own casino or just being closely involved in the marketing of a casino from like A through Z, and just kind of doing that. So that's kind of like what I want to gear towards. But I do like insurance as well. So like I operated at FE floor previously. We didn't have too much success, but I think it was just kind of timing and, just didn't really see eye to eye with like all our partners. But We're bringing that back hopefully soon within the new year, and hopefully that's something that we can kind of build, because I just see that as like a kind of a long-term play. So like these are two things I think like long-term I could see myself doing. Completely different sides of the coin. One of them is insurance, one of them is casino. But then there's two things that I found like very interesting for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what got you into insurance? Is it just because you saw other people doing it, or did you just what was
Good question. So I started in pay-per-call, I think at the tail end of I want to say 2023. So I started because Coy, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows Coy. He basically, I knew him from an Ecom background. So like he was in a group chat, it was like 50 of us Ecom guys, and he was in that chat. And all of a sudden he's just putting up these crazy screenshots, and it's like, what is this? Like, you know, like nobody's really talking about what he's doing. And he basically started saying like, hey, this is pay-per-call. You guys should like look into it, kind of get into it. So, you know, he kind of was my gateway to getting into pay-per-call. So that first year I basically started pay-per-call. I didn't know anything about it. And essentially I was running, I believe, ACA at the time. And I had like 2 networks. I had my ring bus set up. I didn't even think it was set up correctly, but I pretty much ran, and I was seeing profit right away. It was like December of 2023. And the only thing I didn't think about, because coming from an ecom mindset, is like I see good numbers and I just scale crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't really think about the manpower associated with a call center. I just thought like, hey, I could send them, like, this is going well, let me up the budget. So one day I lost 20 grand just because nobody took my calls because all the lines were busy. And I didn't really know, hey, you need to have buyers that have big floor. You know, I didn't know that stuff. So that was a big life lesson for me. And so, you know, fast forward a couple months, I think I moved to Vegas like probably around like the next year, like about like 2 months later. And I started just kind of going to like all the little side events, right? And so I knew of you from your podcast because like when you pop up pay-per-call at the time, you were really huge on that, like just pay-per-call keyword on Google. So I started watching your podcast. I started getting familiar with like certain faces. And I got really cool with Michael Walker, who lives in Vegas also. And we went out to dinner, and he kind of put me on game into a little bit, opening my world a little bit to the pay-per-call stuff. Went to LeadsCon of that year, 2023. And got to know, you know, I think I met Samar there. I think I met you, actually, no, 2024.
We met at a call center conference.
Call center conference, which was a week after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I basically wore a shirt that said, hey, if you're selling, if you're buying if you're a direct buyer for ACA calls, please talk to
me. Yeah, you were the only one that was, I was shocked. And like, I actually was looking, that was like a good meetup.
Yeah, so essentially, like, you know, I realized, hey, I need these buyers, right?
Yeah.
So I got all these buyers, and, you know, we started having a little run. Unfortunately, ACA kind of went to shit shortly after. So even though I had these connections, like, at least like I didn't really get to make a run with it, but now I at least had connections like yourself, Samar, you know, Michael, and all these other people. So it's been cool in the pay-per-call space for sure. But just now, like, you know, from there, you know, I see Michael operates an agency, you know, with the ACA. I saw Samar's doing his own thing. I see like yourself, you have like, you know, your home leads and stuff where you guys are calling them. So it's like, okay, I'm like every big player that I've met so far has that extra layer where they're not just a media buyer, they also are servicing these leads.
Correct.
So in my head, I was like, okay, well, that's the next logical step. I just didn't know where to go because ACA, again, I was kind of new. I saw it as like a burning hill. Everybody was saying that, hey, this is not feasible anymore. Medicare just seemed a little bit difficult. There's a lot of government compliance. So I'm just like, hey, I don't think I could get something up in time for you know, this year's open enrollment or whatever the case was. So I kind of started getting into final expense, which, you know, it has its cycles where it's like really popular. It's not. At the time it was super popular, but I had found somebody that wanted to buy leads. So I started running leads for them. And essentially it got to the point where I was selling them like $20,000 worth of leads at one point. And no matter, like, I would raise the price on them occasionally. So every couple of weeks I'd be like, hey, I want $2 more per lead. And they wouldn't even blink an eye. So I'm like, okay, these guys are making money. And so, you know, I started doing research, and I saw that final expense was a little bit easier of a barrier to entry to get started with. And that's kind of just how I got into the insurance space from there. So, you know, I did everything I needed to do to open my own floor. Again, like ultimately didn't really work out, but we're going to revive it. But yeah, I've learned a lot, and I think it's something that I do want to get into a little bit more and just kind of be on the operator side, because that's where the real money's at for sure.
Yeah. And that's at the first Columbia Con, I think it was August 2024.
Yeah.
That was one of the big themes, or two themes. One was that, you know, ACA is dying.
Yeah.
So where is everyone going to shift to? And everyone was saying final expense. And then for lo and behold, that really happened. You, three months later, 6 months, 9 months later, right? They all jumped into that, right? And the other was owning your own offer. You know, starting your own agency, Manny Perez and Leads Icon. That's what I was with them 2 weeks ago. And we were in Doral, Florida.
Yeah,
man, they're doing great.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing they did, and like, I'm glad you mentioned the call centers. Call centers are not easy to run. I've run a ton of them. you need to have the right people. And they hired the right manager. They got the right. I can tell when I walk into a call. So I didn't hear the show longer, but they're doing a good job. But that was the thing, winning your own offer, right? So you're not just so dependent on up and down fucking lead gen, because it's like this, right?
Exactly. That's the other thing is like you get the benefit as a media buyer to where when competition is really tough, like for example, Medicare right now, it's really hot open enrollment period. You don't have the luxury to be able to spend more per call. But if you're the offer owner and you're getting a lot of payment from like the policy itself, who cares if you're paying an extra $10 per call if the call's quality and it's going to stay on the books, So you have that luxury too, where on the media buying side, it kind of becomes a little bit easier and you have a little bit more cushion.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love it. And one thing I was going to say too, where I kind of alluded to earlier, I see you active in a lot of the groups, right? A lot of Telegram groups. You go to a lot of the shows, the masterminds, and how has that helped you out? Because I mean, I know I would say probably immensely, but what's been the biggest benefit from all that?
I think just the connections, right? You start meeting people, after you go to these shows. I would try to do all the side events, so I try to find all the side events that interest me.
The side events are huge, by the way. That's really where you get a lot of the sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you make you have more money making potential from the side events as opposed to going to the main event. But I think still, if you're new, definitely go to the main event for at least a year or two, and then from there, if you decide not to, it's cool. But the side events is where the money's at, in my opinion. That's where all the good connections are. That's where like you kind of meet people who are going to be your lifelong friends that you could learn from. So like that's where I met people like Samar, Michael Walker, yourself. And that's just kind of like, where all the magic happens. I think it's where people kind of get more intimate. You start finding that you start seeing the same people over and over, and eventually you get those ColumbiaCon experiences where it's like, a very intimate group and we're sharing like everything, we're not afraid to share numbers or strategies or whatever the case may be. So I think, I think I love to learn, and like, going to these events or going to these telegrams and just kind of making friends. And that is definitely like a big part of my success, I believe. Because, now when I need help, for example, with something related to like AI backend, I text Ariel. I know Ariel's my guy. I know he could handle it and help me out with that. If I struggle with something with AI, Samar's my guy right there. So it's cool to make these connections. I think it's definitely worth your time to be involved in there. I will say it's easy to fall in the trap where like one day like you'll just be looking at it and not doing any work at all on Telegram. So a little pro tip for me is I have a second Telegram that is all like my business partners pretty much on my laptop only. Now on my phone I have like every other Telegram group chat. So like if I want to get if I just want to be not distracted, I just put my phone away and I know that I'm not going to be bugged by notifications from random people that are interesting. So
I love that you said that, because it could get sometimes I get lost in these fucking chats.
It's 1,200 new messages and it's been like 3 hours and it's like I can't read that, so you miss a lot, which kind of sucks. But it's better to you still gotta get work done eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rainbow is the leading inbound call tracking and analytics platform for marketers, brands, and pay-per-call teams. It gives you real-time reporting, intelligent call routing, and fully customizable call flows backed by global telecom access in more than 60 countries. With enterprise-grade reliability, a powerful API, and no contracts or setup fees, Rainbow has become a go-to platform for performance marketers worldwide. To learn more and to sign up, check out the link in the description below. Get goated and let's fucking go.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that about the side events. And I mean, that's been my experience, because we're in these masterminds. So what happens is when you go to these shows, you'll see someone and they're like, you're trying to get somewhere, they're trying to get somewhere, and you have like a 30-second, 1-minute conversation, and then you forget, man, 90% of what happens. But when you're at the masterminds and these side events, you're there. You're like in a house, or you're like in a room for like an hour, so you can get deeper. You can go, oh, what's going on? Let's get a little deeper. And people will tell you, like, I've been shocked at how there's some people that hold a high regard in the industry that I know their numbers. They put up stupid fucking numbers, but then they would tell me, I'm going through a rough time. I lost this much. I lost that much. I'm like, what happened, right? Yeah, and they'll tell you what happened, and that way you learn from the experience, right? And then when you're having a rough time, you go to them, and you know you can be vulnerable because they're vulnerable to you, and you know they're not going to like try to make you feel like shit or like flash it out. So that's been the other thing, that they kind of like the mentorship that you get from that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And people that are experts in their lanes.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can always learn from everybody, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my biggest takeaway. And the other thing too is like, it's kind of just going back on that, is like, I also try to be nice to everybody I meet, regardless of they're like newbies or like, veterans in the space, just because you never know who you're gonna meet, right? So I've had newbies who like hit me up, and like 2 years from that later, those are guys who are like, now I'm asking for help on a new platform.
Yeah.
Like Snapchat, like, is something that I struggled with. And one of my previous students, but before he was my student, he was like just a newbie who was bugging me, helped them out, became my student. And then now it's like, I ask him for advice on TikTok and Snapchat. That's something where I'm not proficient in. So I think it's just, beneficial to go to these, but also, as you're networking with people, if you meet somebody who's not necessarily like on your level, don't just brush them off, give them the time of day to a certain extent for sure.
Yeah, I love that you said that. It reminds me, you talked about Michael Walker, right? We interviewed him. He was one of the first guests. We interviewed him in Colombia, and he said something that was great. We made a clip out of it about, be an adventurer and just don't be an asshole. Just be nice to people, right? Because it's really true. And I've had so many experiences where I met someone 5 years ago and they were just getting into the industry, and I gave them some advice. I'm like, yo, I took your advice. That shit worked. I'm like, it feels nice to hear it. And now they're fucking crushing it, right? So you know that, hey, you had a part to play in that, right? And sometimes maybe they're not, but you do the right thing, and then sometimes it doesn't come back, but a lot of times it does when you at least fucking expect it.
Exactly. Yeah, funny enough, sorry to get off topic, but it's kind of like, the Ferrari story, like how Ferrari created Lamborghini.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah, can you tell the audience?
Very, very loose, probably going to be butchered, but essentially Lamborghini was a tractor company, and essentially he bought a Ferrari to congratulate himself on his company kind of doing well. He had issues with it. Essentially, he went to Enzo Ferrari, and he basically was like, hey, this thing is not working. And Ferrari insulted Lamborghini, basically saying, hey, like, well, it's not meant for tractor drivers to drive it. So like he basically insulted him, kind of belittled him, and fast forward, now we're at the point where Lamborghini is, their biggest competitor, because he pissed them off so much. So going back to just be nice to everybody, man. You don't want to create your own biggest enemy, and at the end of the day, everybody could be an ally. So
yeah, you never know is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So cool, man. So let's talk about AI now, because I know you're in the when Columbia Con too. We had a Telegram group there, and they kind of morphed into an AI group, and you were very active in there. You were showing me some cool ads, man. And it took you a while to crack some of these, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to tell exactly what you're doing. But man, it just blows me away how they're compelling, man. I would stop scrolling what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like, you're using Sora for that, right?
Yeah, I'm using Sora. So I've learned a little bit about all the platforms. Sora allows for voice and like actual like audio. So that's why I kind of use it. VO3, Google VO3 is also really good. I like Sora a little bit better because I feel like you don't need to be as specific. So with Google VO3, I was using that for some FE ads in the past, and like I felt like I had to be ultra specific. Like the guy is wearing a blue polka dot shirt, the woman is wearing hoop earrings, like to get what I wanted or to get something relevant to like what the look I wanted. Versus like with Sora, I feel like I could just give it quicker bullet points and it just spits out what I want exactly. So it's only getting better and better too. Google VO3 only allows for 8 seconds. Last time I used it, I haven't touched it in a couple months. Where Sora goes up to, I think, 25 seconds. So you could get a full length ad now with Sora. So it's only gonna get better. As soon as they do a minute, it's game over. No, like UGC market's gonna die. Like you might as well just use that.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy how it's evolved, man. I remember UGC, I don't know if that was a year ago. Like things are happening so fast right now in our industry, in life. It's just freaking crazy, the evolution of that, right? For a while, I thought UGC is up. This is going to last a long time. Fam, also AI comes out there and spits out so many, man. Sama's a good example.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always changing too. Like every week there's a new update. And that's why it's good to be a part of those AI group chats, because like people like Samar, for example, he's on it. He just said, hey, Google Nano Banana 2 is making an update tonight. Okay, cool. I'll go check that out tomorrow morning, so it's cool to be up informed and, being in the right circles to like, learn from these people and learn when updates come out so you could kind of capitalize on it a little earlier.
How do you stay up to date with it? Is it just better being in those groups or be connected, or like what's your
the groups? Yeah, pretty much in the groups, but also kind of exploring tools. So like I'll just kind of like what I use. So for Sora, I don't go through Sora itself. I go through Higgs Field, which is like another company that owns their own like models for AI video creation and image creation.
How do you spell that?
HIGGS Field.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how you spell it. And essentially like they have every AI tool from every company all in one hub.
Wow.
So it's a little easier for me to stay up to date. It's a little bit easier for me to kind of just have everything in one spot. And like they basically will tell you, hey, Nano Banana 2 now available. So now I'll just read the documentation from there. I'll do a quick Google search and just kind of see what I could learn. So I think that helped a little bit in terms of just learning more on the AI stuff, but pretty much everything else I'm learning from my peers, right? Group chats, whether it be the ones that are a little bit more closed off or the ones that are really big, like Vivek's, for example, super affiliate chat. that's really big on Telegram. So those are like, those are all people that you can learn from and just stay up to date with.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was at the last Columbia Con, and I don't think he's been in the industry too long, but he's he's doing very well, a very humble guy. And I remember talking to him back then, like I don't know where he got the inspiration to start a group, right? Yeah. He did it, and man, it's doing, all I do is hear good things about his group.
No, yeah, his group's really cool, and they have like once a week calls. I joined this past week.
Is it on Sundays usually?
It was on Thursday, I think, or like Tuesday. I don't know. It was like some random weekday, but I happened to have like free time. I just hopped in, and like Ron was on there, and I learned a lot from Ron. So like pretty cool. Sometimes you never know who's gonna be in there, and it's just kind of cool to hop in every now and then.
That's awesome. Speaking of groups, we have a Telegram group. We just created it today. We gotta freaking put a link to that, man. We want you on that group, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be more, it's more about high level networking, managing these shows. I got a lot of good takeaways from this show. I'll put like that behind the scenes kind of stuff in there. We're going a little bit further than we do an LFG show on there. Cool. But yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. Even like someone like a newbie that gets in the industry, I mean, if they got the balls to start their own group, because you got a lot of attention on you, a lot of eyes on you, right? And it puts like a little bit of pressure. And I was kind of hesitant to start a Telegram group. I'm like, fuck, I already got a million things going on, but I think it's gonna cause me to elevate my game. We got Newsbreak just sponsored the LFG show.
Congrats on that.
And thank you. But I was like, damn, do I want another sponsor? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you go into business to work for yourself. You don't really want to report to anybody, but I feel like now but it's good. I like having the pressure because I want to deliver for them. Yeah. They're growing like crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm hanging out with them. They're teaching, they're showing me all the stuff that's going on the AI side with these apps and whatever. Yeah. So they're showing me a whole new world. So, it's a matter of like putting pressure. There's a good pressure is what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely just kind of putting yourself in those situations and networking. And I think with that group, you're gonna have a lot of success there. And then it's cool to be like in the in the good graces of these companies too, just because they power our market. So at the end of the day, if you could get the latest update a little earlier, you kind of get the better documentation, that gives you a little bit of edge too.
Yeah.
So.
And I was going to say also, it's proximity is what comes down to, right? They say proximity is power, and I can't emphasize that enough, right? Definitely. I mean, listen, I took a picture, I'll show you the picture. Chance took a picture, Adam Young's mansion, or next to his penthouse in Miami. This fucking picture is amazing. Like it's just crazy. And I looked at it and I'm like, wow, man, like me and Adam become really close, right? Yeah. And as a result of the podcast, spending more time with him, and it's just great having someone like that as a friend, and that he's giving me great advice. And I think that, that's the point of the group. We want to have people in proximity, good people in proximity with each other. And you've done that too. You've created, I know you've had little get-togethers here in Las Vegas, dinners, you've done that kind of stuff, and it goes a long way. Yeah, look at that fucking.
Yeah, no, I've seen them post about it. And I'm like, I just like every time somebody gets a cooler, different angle, I'm like, damn, that's some Batman shit, right?
Yeah. I know. I didn't even know. We didn't even know. He's like, David, this is an incredible photo. I didn't know what you're talking about. I was on plane, it didn't download, and I landed like, holy shit, that is a nice picture.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah. That's the goal. Some Batman shit like that.
Yeah, it is. But it comes down to proximity, and I think that's one good thing that you've done is that you put yourself in these positions, you talk to the right people, like you reach out to Michael Walker. I mean, he might be like, Michael Walker's put up massive fucking numbers. A really humble guy, man, but OG. But you reach out to him, he respected that, and boom, now you guys are friends. You could pick up the phone and reach him, right? Samar charges fucking, to console. He charges people, man, good amount of money. But you can, because he knows you're his boy, like he'll do some preferential stuff. That's what the proximity comes down to, man.
Yeah, definitely. And proximity, like you said, and I'm always making yourself available for a returning favor, right? Yeah. It's not all just about take. You gotta give back too, So, I tell all my friends who are good in business, like if you ever need anything that I can help you with, please let me know. If I don't have somebody, I'm sure I could go one layer down and find somebody to get you right, whatever you need. So
yeah. And speaking of that, we have to talk, and we're gonna have dinner after this. We're gonna do something at Affiliate Summit.
Yeah,
we're gonna do ASW. We're gonna do an event, and one reason why I wanted you on here is because I feel like in our space there's so many, like, I don't know, like nooks and crannies, right? Mm-hmm. And that if you're good at generating leads or driving traffic, whatever, there's so many different nooks and crevices you can go to. Maybe you could find your lane. Maybe you had some success here, but it died. There's always somewhere else, and maybe you could just make it yours, right? So that's why I don't think we've had anybody. I mean, we had Blake Tovis talk about it briefly. He didn't go that as in depth as you went into, but these verticals that are out there, people don't know, but they don't know about these international markets. You talked about Brazil, right? Yeah. We talked about casinos, and the idea is to open people's eyes, because you don't know what you don't know. So when I hear from someone like you, so the point of I'm excited to do this event with you, because I think it's a way to kind of merge some of those ecosystems.
Yeah. So really quick, so little event that we're going to be throwing is just going to be at Affiliate Summit West. It's going to be in Vegas. I believe it's like January 16th, 15th. Is
one of those days.
Well, we're going to throw out one random, like probably like a Monday or something.
Yeah.
But essentially, I usually throw this party every year with one of my casino guys. They would like fund the room, and then they basically told me open invite. I think last year we had like 180 people at one point.
Wow, you had that many people? Why?
Yeah, so they were afraid to get shut down.
Ooh.
So like one of my guys was like panicking. He's like, bro, don't invite nobody else. And then the other guy is like, hey, just keep them coming. I'm like, all right, you know. So we're gonna probably do the same room, but we're gonna kind of elevate it a little bit. You know, we're gonna get some sponsors, and just kind of make it a little bit more of an official event where, you know, people could kind of come and, you know, network with other people. Like you said, like, you know, Affiliate Summit has a lot of pockets of affiliate marketing, right? You have the pay-per-call guys, the lead gen guys, you have the Ecom guys, you have the Nutra guys. And it's like, I like to throw that space where, you know, because I've been around, I kind of have friends everywhere where people could collab, right? So it's like, hey, now this, you know, TikTok shop guy just connected with this lead gen guy, and there's something that they learn from each other or whatnot, you know?
Yeah, and it's great. And they always remember that, man. And that's how it happened. I'm going back to Columbia Con, one thing, first networking event, international. I didn't know how that was I was worried someone was gonna fucking die. I mean, we're in Columbia, you know, like, you know, people do crazy shit there. So the bottom line though, once it started going, you helped with that. Once you started asking questions, what happened was the VSL guys were in their corner, like with 3 or 4 VSL guys. The Ecom guys are here, right? The White Hat Legion guys are here, right? The AI guys here, the call center guys, like people found their own like little cohorts, right? Which I thought was cool. And that's the beauty when you open. I mean, you had 180 people there, so I'm sure you had a ton of those, right? So it's like a natural thing that happens organically, which is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can always learn from everybody, right? So it's like, hey, like just in my own experience, there's stuff from casino that I could now apply to Ecom that would, you know, crush it for me, or vice versa, or whatever the case, or some pay-per-call thing that I plug in here, you know, like, so there's no right or wrong way to build it. It's like Legos, you know, you just build it however you want. And at the end of the day, like, you might have something that completely crushes that not a lot of people know because you're tapped into these other markets as well.
Yeah, it's a different perspective. And then at the end of the day, not just media buying or everything, you want an edge, right?
Yeah.
So by meeting someone that's doing it a different way, they might give you this idea that gives you the edge. And I think that's what it comes down to. And even like yesterday, I'm in Chandelier Bar at midnight. I was like, damn, I was up a lot. I was traveling a lot. I was like, should I go? So I met with a client. This guy gave me he gave me something. And he's like, Dave, I'm going to tell you this one. I like you, blah, blah. He gave me a fucking edge, man. And I was like, wow, and sometimes he shows, you want to transact, you want to create opportunities to like, you know, maybe close a deal or whatever, but sometimes it's just information. You get a fucking nugget of information that could change everything, man, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's all plug and play, man.
That's what it comes out. So I'm pumped up to be doing that with you. I think we lost touch, but now we're here today. We're going to dinner. We're going to figure this out. We're going to make that shit happen. I don't know, this might be one of the last questions I ask you. How the fuck do you stay ahead and how do you get an edge in this environment where it's so hard to keep up, man?
I think, one, like we touched on already, is like join the Telegram groups, join the Discords that, you know, whether they be from like just your peers, like on a peer level, or maybe you're paying for somebody's paid Discord, where it's somebody that you respect, like, you know, whether it be like a mentor or like some big ecom guy or whatever, but just join these pockets, right? Like, I think it's a good way to just kind of get things going. Another thing is just like start going to these events if you're not already going. So for example, like, Affiliate Summit has a little bit of everything. So like, you know, you could kind of go to the side events. The side events is where the magic happens, I think. So it's like, there's usually always going to be like some type of like spreadsheet of all the side events. Find the ones that interest you, make the time to go out to those really quickly, and, you know, talk to people and see what you can learn from them. Even if it's a side event that isn't directly corresponding to the market that you're in, I think it's still worth your time to go to if you do have the time. And aside from that, I mean, it's just kind of talking to people and making yourself be known in the space, right? Like I came from an ecom space, so I have a lot of friends in the ecom space, but when I pivoted into Legion, I didn't know anybody. So, you know, Michael Walker opened a lot of doors for me because I think I saw him at LeadsCon after we had dinner, and he's like, hey, this is this person, this is this person. So I started kind of breaking in and started, you know, he gave me the entry point, but I kind of started talking my way into these circles and in these groups. And again, helping people where they need help on, or like, you know, strategies or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of, you know, I think the best way to go about it, and just staying up to date from your peers, because everybody's kind of got their own interests. For example, I'm not like the biggest AI forefront guy, but Samar is, and he gives me that information, right? You know, Ariel's really good on the back end. So if there's like a new update on Ringba, maybe he's the guy who gives me that update. So I think it's just kind of being like in a network of people and talking to the people who kind of like are doing what you want to do, as well as like, you know, keeping yourself updated. So like Facebook stuff, I can help you out with that. You know, running ads on like AppLovin, or these new platforms, I'm kind of getting more of a hang of it. So, you know, just kind of mixing and matching with people.
You always say, not to go off subject, man, but fucking Apple oven, that stock's fucking gone through the roof.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I would say, and something I feel like an ass with. I trade a lot, right? I love the markets, and I make money doing it. I don't make stupid money doing it, but it's almost like it's fun. It's fun for me, right? But sometimes I get pissed at myself because, like, fucking Whole Foods, right? I've been fucking shopping at Whole Foods for 20 years. And I remember like 15 years ago, that's just to buy stock in this shit. I didn't buy any, that's, Apple oven, another fucking example. That stock, I have a Dan Zanger, I pay $139 a month for this report, and it's great. I mean, good money. He should be charging triple that, quadruple that, it'd be worth it. He fucking alerted about Apple oven like 6 months ago. I didn't I think the stock's with APP. I didn't realize that was the same Apple oven. That fucking Samara stuff. Bro, I could have bought that fucking stock and maybe I could have, right? So the point is that we're at the forefront. Another good example, Jason Applebaum, right? One of those fucking legends.
OG.
Him and I were doing a lot of solar. One day we're like, what the fuck is wrong with us? We saw solar going the other way. We saw these clients not paying their fucking bills on time. Why didn't we fucking buy puts on SunPower and these fucking, I'm like, you're fucking, like, we have inside information, man. We do.
These markets.
Legal inside information. It's not like, shit you get arrested for Martha Stewart shit. So the point is, fucking, that's another thing we should talk about in these fucking things. You were at Columbia Con too. Ankur talked about investing, right?
You did. And I like this approach about it. Yeah.
That was fantastic. He should have charged that shit.
Not to give out too much, but I like his whole approach is thinking one layer below. And I think that's exactly what we want to do, right? Like what we're missing out on. Like AI is doing really well. Okay, well, what's the layer below AI? Okay, the components of AI, water cooling, electricity. How do you buy those stocks? And it like as AI gets more popular, those kind of follow suit.
So that's the point, is that it's not just about going deeper. It's not just about making money off selling a lead or acquiring a customer. It's like, how do you fucking go deeper and make that money? A good book is called The Psychology of Money, and they talk about exponential growth. That's how the rich, ultra rich, they let their money work for them, right? So let's say you had your best month ever, right? Take a percentage that, put it into fucking stocks, put in the shit that you're a consumer of. Like Barry White from Lululemon. But why the fuck were we buying Lululemon stock 10 years ago? Like, so I'm looking at this at my age, I'm like, I feel like an idiot sometimes, but you know what, it's still good. I still got a long life to live, right? But the point is, I don't know if Sora goes public, but if you're fucking using these things, buy stock in those motherfuckers. Put a percentage of them, grow. And we know Ankur, the guy's a humble guy, but the guy's fucking doing really well. And then, bro, Columbia Con 3, he'll be speaking, I guarantee you that.
Let's do it.
Or a deeper level. But the point is, pay attention to that shit. That's how you go deeper. You're talking about owning your offer because you want to go deeper. You want to have more control. When the profits that we make, Dennis Gonchar talked about it too. Don't be fucking, you don't have to go crazy and spend all this fucking money. Be frugal, reinvest your money, He's a good example of that too. So the point is that we have access to so much fucking information, man, like way above the normal person. And I think sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for that.
That's funny because funny enough that you bring that up, and this is again off topic, but just for just shooting shits here, but about Pudgy Penguins, that what that is?
The NFT.
Luca Nets owns it, right? So like I've known Luca Nets for a long time. We follow each other on IG, and like I've had conversations. I can't say I'm close to him, but it's so funny that like I know that he bought that, and I have like my cousins in group chats sending Pudgy Penguin memes, and I'm just like, damn, like I really know the behind the layer of that, and for them it's just a meme, but it's again like buy the crypto coin of that, and you just it goes up, and it has spoke. I've made money off of that Igloo coin, something like that. But that's kind of like crazy to think about when you put it.
Yeah, we're at the forefront, man. So it's like, I've been thinking about it recently too. Like I've known all this shit, man. It's like that solar example with Jason I was talking about. Like we had that fucking, I actually did that. There was a company called Sonova I used to do business with. I'm like, these motherfuckers go out of business. And I actually bought the puts. I didn't get it as heavy as I should have gotten to it, but we have an edge, man. And we talked a lot. We use that word edge probably like 15 fucking times, but we have such an edge in what we do as in our, I don't know what we call ourselves, internet marketers, whatever the fuck you want to call us. The term is, there's such an edge. It goes beyond just making money on leads, right? It's a huge edge in terms of like knowing how to run a business. I interviewed this young woman, Sanjay, right now, and I fucked up her name, but she went to all those other companies and she learned about Blueprint. Now she's working for herself, right? And she's helping. They don't know how to market as a black box. So that's it. We have this fucking edge, and we're gonna utilize it, man. What it comes down to. Good stuff. Any last words, man?
Be nice. Be nice to everybody that you meet at these. Go to conferences. Join the group chats. Don't be an asshole. Pretty much, that's kind of it. And do what you love. So
yeah, and don't gamble all your money away at the casinos, man.
I set a hard cap there.
It said a hard cap, bro.
That's funny because like when I go out with my cousins to gamble here in Vegas, they're like, "Hey, shouldn't you not be gambling because you work for a casino?" Like, yeah, but you know, it's still fun.
And they
Like,
set a limit. Yeah, you
yeah,
do it
it's like,
right.
you know how this is like works. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it is what it is. We're just at a limit.
Never get high on your own supply, right?
Yeah,
That's what I say.
yeah.
But I also like we talked about the prediction markets. I think that's something guys
Yeah, I
watch
think that's
out
something
for.
huge.
Right now, a lot of those guys are using influencers, micro influencers,
Yeah, that's kind of like the
influencers.
main marketing tool.
But I think that you're right. Eventually, there's going to be some company that works with affiliates like others have, and those are the ones that are going to blow up. So I think that's something to keep an eye on for sure, you know, and that's what we pride ourselves on. I mean, I made a career fighting trends and riding those motherfucking waves, you know, and, you know, it's exciting, man. It really is.
Definitely,
you know?
definitely.
Well, good shit, Vic. Great to have you on the show. You see us at Affiliate Summit West, man. We're going to be talking more about it. How can people find out more about you?
So I go by at ecom_Vic on IG. That's kind of like where I hang out mostly. And I'm in all the group chats. So if you're in one of these big affiliate group chats, chances are I'm in there. I mean, if you see me in you know, a little video call, feel free to say hi. Love talking to everybody and learning from everybody. So yeah. That's kind of it.
Good shit. Great to have you, Shilla, man.
Sir, appreciate you, bro.
Let's fucking go, guys.
Your network is your net worth. We got a fucking crazy network of people. I'm not talking about your average motherfucker. I'm talking about people doing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a day in ad spend. People that have made billions of dollars in sales. People that exited their companies for about $1 billion. We hit 100 episodes. Guess what? We're about to take shit to the next level. So you want to be part of it? Subscribe right now. Remember, no money, no honey. Let's fucking go.